infernal blessings. We are back with another video. Alright, a couple quick announcements. We're going through them. 8th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference. As of today, today is the 6th, we are 24 days away. Just now 3 weeks and 3 days out. So it's here, folks. Again, for those coming for the meet and greet, if you're traveling, please make sure you're here. The meet and greet will be Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will get, in about 2 weeks, I will get official confirmation for those that will be here for that, and you will get the location. I'll send it to you. So if you're traveling again, make sure you are here so you can get to the meet and greet by 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, October 30th. And then on Friday and Saturday from 9 to 4 p.m. we got classes, presentations, lectures, workshops, whatever you want to call it. All those things will take place from 9 to 4 on Friday and Saturday. And then on Friday and Saturday evening, we will return on both nights at 7:30ish, 7:38 p.m., depending on how those conference and the time slots. We come back in the evening to do a group ritual around 7:38 p.m., followed by a group dinner afterwards, which is just some kicking it, some socializing, some fun, and eating and all that good stuff. And then Sunday we close the conference out from noon to 4 p.m. with a question and answer session from yours truly. That'll take place noon to 4 p.m. and that'll close the conference out. Okay? So, just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, just so everybody is aware. So you have the itinerary. If you want to attend live and in person, or if you want to attend virtually, just shoot me a email at khnum19@gmail.com. That's khnum19@gmail.com. And I will send you that information on whichever you are looking for information on either or. So if it's for virtually, just specify virtually. If it's to attend in person, specify to attend in person. If it's both, specify both. All right. Also, if you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, I offer various different types of readings: Clipothic demonic readings, Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings. As I've said before, shadow work reading is always a great reading to do when you're looking for a sense of purpose and direction. If you're not sure what kind of ritual work you should be doing, shadow work reading always is dealing with what's going on around you now, and usually shadow work readings, not usually, they will uncover things you should be addressing. And as I've said, as far as ritual work, you always hear me say this, and I'm going to keep saying it. You know, what kind of ritual and spiritual work I should be doing. Whatever needs you got that need to be addressed. The needs that need to be taken care of. That's first and foremost, should always be first and foremost on your priority list. I know a lot of people like to do work for materialistic shit, money magic, love spells, this and that. When you're constantly vibrating on the mundane, it doesn't really do much for you. And I'll be honest with you. If you take care of the needs first, as I've said, trust me, the wants come. All right? So any of the aforementioned, or maybe you just want a spiritual consultation, people use that with me. They just have a list of questions. They literally come to the consultation with questions written down on paper, or they just want to have a conversation and just use it as a one-on-one session. Any of the aforementioned, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. Please include in your email your full weekly availability on a weekly basis and the time zone. Yeah, we'll find a day and time that works for both of us, all right? Also, if you want to sign up for classes, go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti.com. And go to tier 3. Tier 3 is the tier you want to join. That's going to give you access to the 3 private classes I do every month on Patreon, including a group ritual that we do together at the end of the month. And again, when you join, just doesn't give you access from the day you join moving forward. It gives you access to everything in the Primordial Chaos archives. All right? That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. And then when you go to the page, go to the collection section. The collection section is going to clearly show you each class that is ongoing. There's a gang of classes ongoing. It's going to show you that. Patreon.com/Baniti, so you can see all of the classes that are ongoing right now as we speak. All right. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. Also, don't forget to hit that like button. Very important. It takes a split second to hit the like button. Once you hit that like button, okay, what that'll do, that like button helps get the algorithm out. As I said before, it's just, I think everybody knows this. I think YouTube, really the last few years, just in my opinion, just very selective on how that algorithm gets out there. And as you know, I'm not really talking about mainstream content, but it is what it is. So hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell. When that drop down menu drops, hit all notifications, and hopefully you get a notification every time I go live or post a brand new video. All right. Other than that, let's get into it. And again, all the links to my to the Patreon page for classes, the podcast, the social media pages. I think I forgot to throw that in there. Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, Primordial Chaos 2 words on Facebook, and primordialchaos.com 3 on TikTok. All the links to the social media pages, my email, the Patreon page, all those links are in the description box that you're watching, in this video that you're watching right now. So this was a good email. I got this email from an individual and said, Baniti, I know lately you've been talking a lot about how they're damaging us with extreme low frequencies. Maybe you've talked about it before, but maybe I haven't caught it in some of your videos or classes. Can you elaborate a little bit more in depth? Okay. Yes, I have elaborated on it a bunch of times, but no worries. This is a good email, good question, and it shows we're paying attention. So yes, this is not actually something new. This is something that's been going on for a while. And the reason why you hear me talking about it the last couple of years, because they've upped their game. This is why I've been talking about it. Those that know. It's one of those things. If you don't know, you don't know, right? Because you're not really paying attention to what's going on. I'm not talking about you, the person that sent the email. I'm just talking about people in general. So what I mean how they're attacking us with extreme low frequencies. For an example, when we look at the cell phones, and I know when most of them first came out, and it might have changed now, but I still think they all vibrate on 800 megahertz, right? That might have changed. Our brain frequency vibrates on 900 megahertz, okay? So I'm going back to when cell phones first came out, and even up to now, the frequency is off. They're usually in alignment from somewhere from 7 to 800. It could vary. You can research that. I'm not sure where it's at now. But the cell phone was one of the tools they invented, because if your brain is functioning and moving at 900 megahertz, and they're coming with a device that you're constantly putting in your ear at 800 megahertz, so that was a tool to slow down your vibrational frequency. It's a lower frequency normally that you resonate at. What's the importance of that? What does that mean? You might have, or maybe you didn't have, catching videos over the years I've talked about on and off, where you have 9 magnetic brain particles and 12 occult nerves. This is basic science. We learned this in school. Your 9 magnetic brain particles are responsible for keeping that frequency vibrating at its correct capacity. So when it's not vibrating at its correct capacity, they get damaged, your brain magnetic particles. This is why people will explain bizarre headaches, like different weird type of headaches, like when you get that weird one around your eyes, or you feel this pull behind the ear and over the head. Just these, it's a different headache from what you would label a regular headache, and sometimes you might even describe it as a serious migraine, where some people get migraines so bad they have to go in a dark room because everything bothers them. The light, anything that's sensitive to it aggravates it. So the more these 9 magnetic brain particles get damaged, you become more susceptible to attacks. So I always hear people talking about spiritual attacks, this, that, and the third, but they can't explain how spiritual attacks are done. Well, it's done through sound, vibration, and frequency. Okay? I don't really get into it in depth because there's a formula there. Because if you're a sorcerer and a magician, you can't tell everybody sometimes certain things. And I don't want to say tricks because it's not tricks, it's a science. So they're using sorcery and magic. When I say they or them, the powers that be, the people that control the media, the technology, the natural resources, the finances, that's what I'm talking about. And put the names to the faces, okay? Because I always gave me, who's the we you're talking about, Baniti? Come on, if you don't know this by now, you're not paying attention. Again, I'm speaking in general, not to the person that sent me the email. All right? That's how spiritual attacks are done. You do the math. It's done through sound, vibration, frequency, and tones. When they can attack you outside of the natural biorhythms, sounds, tones, and frequencies more so, that you normally vibrate at, and everybody has a certain tone. And I told you how you access your tone. You can use a keyboard, anything that accesses the notes from A to F, and you can, and this is why I've been telling you guys over the years to do your mantras and your chanting in your personal tone and frequency, because that helps build up your psychic self-defense. That's the other thing people ask, how does psychic self-defense work? Well, psychic self-defense is the tactic you use to protect yourself against spiritual attacks. It's not just the tangibles, candles and spiritual oils and physical things. That's only going to take you so far. Yes, those things can alter your spiritual environment to a degree, but on an internal level, it's not going to do the full job. That's where you, as the magician, the sorcerer, the black adept of the spiritual arts, whatever you want to call it, that's where you got to go to work on your higher spiritual sciences. So by sending out these extreme low frequencies, whether it's through cell phones, when you walk outside, as I'm in my car right now and I look around, I see nothing but telephone poles and wires. Whether you're aware of it or not, all of us, you are exposed to those frequencies. Ionized radiation is another tool that they use. A microwave contains it. Your Bluetooth, when you put cell phones up to your ear, when you put certain earbuds and headphones, the music you listen to, whether you're aware of it or not, there are certain artists that are used as tools. They know how to use certain sounds, tones, and frequencies in the music. This is why a lot of the youth today are into this mumble crap, as I like to call it. Yeah, call me an old head. It's mumble crap because it's at a very low frequencies. That's why if you look this generation, not all of them, it only applies to those it applies to. This is why they can't articulate themselves. Even when they just talk and hold a conversation, they mumble. This is why they're starting to regress, almost like they're going back to the prehistoric man or Neanderthal. They got the skinny jeans hanging off their ass, and they can't even walk. They don't even look like they're humans anymore. And it's all races doing it. It ain't just black people. It ain't just Latino people. It's white kids doing it, Asian kids doing it. And what's causing them to do it is that low vibrational frequency energy. This is why they come off not being, I'm talking the ones that are really affected by it, not able to articulate themselves. They can't even hold a conversation. And this is why you hear it in the music. It's very low vibrational frequency shit. And to the point where they put a frequency in there where they get the girls at a very young age. A lot of these girls can fucking twerk and drop it like it's hot and regurgitate lyrics to songs like WAP and all this hoe shit. But if you ask them anything spiritual or educational, these little kids don't know nothing. And where they're getting it from? Us, the adults. Us, the adults. Because adults allow this shit. They expose the kids to this shit. It's all part of the plan. So when these vibrational frequencies are sent out, it unaligns you. And it exposes you on a mental level, a spiritual level, and a physical level. So all types of things can go wrong. Physical illness can kick in. and low vibrational frequencies attack your immune and your autoimmune system, right? When they're using these frequencies, ionized radiation at high levels can cause different types of mutation of cells, which again can start to metamorphosize into cancers and other types of illnesses. When cells mutate, that could be a good or a bad thing. It can affect blood count, white and red blood cell count. And again, I want to make this clear because I got to do this disclaimer. You got to be careful when you're on it. I am not a doctor and I am not giving any medical advice to anybody. I want to make that clear. I have to put that in there, okay? This is what I meant at the end of the year, beginning of the year, when I said they're gonna try attacking us. People don't listen because a lot of people still caught up in the tangible shit. You want to play Ifa and Santeria and you're still stuck in this man worship shit because you don't want to take that next step to be a real god or a goddess. You still want some spooky external shit outside of you thinking it's going to give you some salvation. And all you did was change the names of it, or you've gravitated to a different spiritual system, but you're still spooked the fuck out. Because the reality is, at the end of the day, the helping hand you're looking for is at the end of your arm. So you can do all the tangible shit you want. It's not going to do you nothing when I say at the end of the day, in the moment when you really need it. Okay? Now the question also this individual posed in the emails, right? Well, let me say this too. Part of the thing is, if other people it's crossing their mind, when these magnetic brain particles are damaged, can they be repaired? And unfortunately, the answer is no. Okay? This is why all of us, nobody's obsolete from it. This is why I said sometimes those weird symptoms you get, unusual ringing, there's different ringing in the ears when the spirits are trying to tune you in. Sometimes when you hear that ringing in the ear, if you have a strong relationship with the gods and the goddesses, and even your ancestors, they'll do like a sound check, like the old knob radios. You know, they kind of tune you in just to realign you. So sometimes when you get that ringing in the ear, that's what that is. But when you get that weird buzz, like it sounds like a locomotive ripping through your ear, that's also part of how they try to attack you with low vibrational frequencies, or ELFs, extreme low frequencies. And again, what's the purpose of it is? It's very easy when you're unaligned from your natural frequency to control your thoughts. That's why some people go batshit crazy. And it gets worse as and I used to teach about this 20 plus years ago, that this day was coming. And it gets worse as our planet, as our solar system is making its full circumference around the galaxy. And as our planet gets closer to the sun, which you see happening now, right? Now you're dealing with the energy that the sun produces in addition, and what that does is it opens us up to a whole nother level of consciousness and awareness, and people don't know how to absorb the influx of this. And this is why you also seen over the last 20 years that shit has escalated with mass shootings, people just snapping at the drop of a dime. Because what happens is it's very easier I gotta be careful what I say, because it's easier to get at certain individuals when that frequency or that vibration is completely unaligned. So this is why people are snapping quicker today. This is why you're seeing crazy shit going on. This is why violence has escalated. This is why you're seeing bizarre shit going on in the news. And again, this has risen in the last 20 years or so. It's gotten worse. Okay? So when you're fighting a war, see, when you're dealing with an enemy that's attacking you with things you can't see with the naked eye. I think the video I did a week or so ago about third eye activation went over everybody's head. Because that's why it's very important to understand alchemy, the pineal gland and the activation of it. Because once that pineal is activated, you're able to see things for what they are, not for what you think they are. And your higher faculties and senses kick in, your clairvoyance, your intuition, your telepathy, your psychometry. All that is enhanced. These are all methodologies. I usually don't talk about a lot of this shit open like that. And this is kind of the shit we get in more in depth on the Patreon page, right? This is how you activate your psychic self-defense. See, I listened to all this bullshit on the internet for years, People always talk about stuff like this, but nobody gives solutions and methodologies. Okay? Right? Everybody seems to know what the problem is, but nobody seems to know what the solution is. And that's why I don't fuck with a lot of that stuff no more. And I used to be into all of those different systems for years, and I learned that these are just a bunch of motherfuckers with egos. I'm not saying everybody, but the motherfuckers with egos that like to hear themselves talk, sound heavy and deep, but I'm not seeing no work producing the results. All I see on a lot of platforms is people calling out the problem. That's great. But what's the solution? Can anybody talk to me about the solution? Read Dion Fortune's book when people ask me about psychic self-defense. Just Google Dion Fortune. A very well-known occult author for years in the occult community. Okay? Activate your psychic self. Read Cyclomancy, right? A book that's been out for eons. Used to hear Brother Panic talk about Cyclomancy a lot. A couple of people, occultists, would talk about Cyclomancy. You can get a free copy of it on Scribd. Okay? This is the information and the knowledge you need where you can actually take work and apply it. Because as I said, it's going to get worse out here. And again, I want to reiterate back to the music. I mean, I really would like to do a whole fucking class on this. Back to the music. The music is a big part. It can be destructive or it can be uplifting. I told you. I showed people in the Patreon something that I call music magic. You're going to find this out to show you the power of vibration, sound, and frequency. You heard me say this, I'm going to say it again. Listen to music from your era and generation. It is a healing force. It will heal and rejuvenate and regenerate cells. And sometimes you will feel, if you listen, if you're an older cat like me, I'm going to be 55 next year, and you listen to music of this era, it doesn't resonate with you. It kind of makes you feel old because you can't vibe with it. So when you listen to, like, for an example, music from your era when you were a teen, in your early 20s, or joyful moments of your life, you are tapping back into the moment. See, the other thing I told you, man, I got so much shit running through my head right now. The thing that I told you with time and things of that nature, if they keep you trapped in linear time and you don't understand how you have the ability through sound to travel back in time, it's that simple. So when you're hearing music from an era, a song that you like, I always done this to you guys in Patreon classes. Think of a song that you like, and a song that goes back from your childhood or a point of your, let's just any song. And when you think about that song, right, the power of the sound and the vibration and the tone of that song is so powerful. Let's just say it's a song you used to hear in the house all the time growing up, or a song you just gravitated to a child. As soon as you hear that song, your mind takes you there, and it creates the visual. You can remember, maybe it was a song you remember, you used to hear it around the house, and you were a little girl, and you were cooking with your mom, right? Your mom used to play it all the time, or something, and you can literally visualize and see yourself in the kitchen with your mom cooking. Maybe it was something during the holidays and you could see the house. You could see all the Christmas decorations. You could see the clothes you got on. Maybe it's a slow jam from back in the day with your first, we all had that crush. That we all got out. Maybe it was, and you hear the music and you could actually take yourself into the bed and actually reenacting the whole entire encounter. You can see the individual. Again, you can, sometimes it becomes so vivid and clear. You remember the date, the time, the day of the week, what you were wearing. What activates that? Sound, vibration. They know that. So if they feed you positive vibrational frequencies, then you're going to access your higher self. If they feed you low vibrational frequency, you're going to be mad all the time, pissed off, angry. Illness is going to set in all the time. You're going to make poor decisions. You're going to be a reactive man, not a proactive man. Sound familiar? I basically describe what a majority of the people in the world today. They're reactive beings because they react off of pure emotion and not good emotion, right? So I taught people about this music magic a few years back. Listen to music from your generation. Utilize it in the gym. If you go to the gym, create playlists. I create playlists from different genres and different periods through decades from pretty much from the 60s, because my parents would listen to a lot of 60s doo-wop R&B in the house, through the 70s, 80s, 90s, up to the present day. And it will activate key points. It's a form of time travel, and it's a form of magic. And it's also a form of healing. And you can do it while you're in the gym. You can do it while you're just sitting relaxing on the couch. If you like to take walks outside or in a park, you can do it while you're walking. You're getting exercise, you're rejuvenating your mind, you're creating cellular healing, you're creating healing at the cellular level, right? This is why it makes you look and feel young. They know the power is in sound, tones, vibration, and frequency. I don't know how many times I gotta say this, but you know what's crazy? I've posted some videos over the years. If you go back on the YouTube page, they don't get as much views as the other videos. And that's not a coincidence, because that shows me what certain people are looking for, and then the real people what they're supposed to be looking for, right? Because to me, though, that information should be top priority, because that knowledge is showing you how you build your psychic self-defense, how you actually do it, okay? And there's more, but I'm not going to go into all that here. I show people in my classes techniques, and individuals that I work with on the side, I show people techniques on how to do this, okay? Not just tangible shit, okay? Yeah, you can go to the con hustle person on the internet and pay them to do some ritual for you. That's not gonna work. And if you want to be foolish enough to do that, and you want to be lazy, and you don't want to take the time out to learn to do it for yourself, then that's on you if you get hustled or scammed. All right, so music is super important to that. And that's why, look at the way music has evolved. Again, me being 54 years old, I can see from the 70s to the present, the evolution of music. And here's the other thing. Everything is captured in computers and machines. Okay? Everything is captured in drum machines. See, the natural elements of the natural instruments has been removed, and there's no human element no more. So your emotions are not charged behind it. It's a machine now doing it. And now everybody and their mother can make a rap record or a song or music or be a DJ. Even the DJ shit now is computerized. Really? What's that bimbo bitch? Paris Hilton? Really? She's got a what do they call that in Vegas? Where she's got a residence at Vegas being a DJ? Are you fucking kidding me? Because now to buy a DJ set, it's basically pressing buttons. It's computers. You hook your laptop up to it. You just press buttons. They got these computerized turntables. Again, even removing the human element out of DJing. Where DJing, when you look at real old school, real DJs that use turntables, vinyls, and SP12s and put their soul into it, shit is gone. Now you could be a fucking robot with no rhythm and no soul and just get up there and so-called DJ because of the advanced technology and equipment they have in music. And there's a good thing to it and there's a bad thing. But the instruments, when you look at I told you guys this, man, got so much shit running through my head right now. I told people years ago, the artists that stay around for long are artists that know how to write music and play instruments. These are why these artists stay around for, because the very essence of their being, their soul, and their emotions is in the music. Whereas a lot of these, you see people from all walks of life. Hip hop, you would rarely ever see a producer other than a black person. But now with all this technology, you would look at certain individuals producing and creating beats because it's all about understanding computers and programming. And it's not about the true essence of the spirit and the soul and the emotions behind the music no more. So they can control the beats per minute, the biorhythms of the music. They know how to lock it into how it connects to the way your heart beats, how to tap into your heart center and control your emotions. This is why certain music activates certain thoughts and emotions. Up-tempo, a certain vibe can feel aggressive, can make you want to fight music, it can make you want to chill, it can make you cry, it can make you sad, it can make you want to fuck, get your grind on, the whole night, because they know how to tap into you based on sound, vibration, frequencies, and tone. So be very conscious, aware of what you expose yourself to, right? Especially before bedtime, right? I always tell people, try not to watch nothing too destructive before bedtime, because as you go into the hours of a PEP, Because a pep comes to you from the late hours of the evening till dawn, fucking with your mind, bringing stress and anxiety and making you worry and stress over things. Don't enhance it by you should have a bedtime ritual before you go to bed. You should get yourself in a certain frame of mind before you lay down to sleep. You should never go to bed angry, amped up, in a negative state of mind, stressed out, or have horrific thoughts. All of that transitions into your spirit realm. They know this. So this is why TV and, yeah, it's great having all these apps and all Netflix and this, that, and the third, but all it is was another tool that they created to fuck with your tone and frequency, to get you even more fucked up. People binge watch series on Netflix. Right? I try to watch when I can, but you always say I just don't have the time for it. And then when I try to get around, I try to watch like series that I feel like I'm going to learn something with, but I just don't understand how somebody does that shit all day or does it daily and then over the weekend. I know so many people that just binge watch series on Netflix all week. I can't do that shit. I wouldn't feel right afterwards. I know if I'm sitting there too long watching something, I got to just cut the motherfucking TV off. I just don't feel right. Okay? So all of these, this is what I mean when I say you're at war. You're up against all of these vices that you have to be aware of. Okay? And again, we have to stay grounded. Don't live your life in fear, because then some people go too spooky or get too extreme, and then it creates even more issues. And that gets into something else entirely fucking different. Okay? So the music is very important. All of these things that can help and assist in them sending you these extreme low frequencies. Unfortunately, we all have these cell phones. We're exposed to it all the time. That's why I say don't keep that shit up to your ear for long periods of time. You remember the old phones back in the day? Remember the first time when cell phones first came out in the late 90s, mid to late 90s? The old Nokias, remember they used to get so goddamn hot? What do you think that was creating that heat? Even the new phones, if you're on some of them, you have that shit to your ear for a long period of time. The Bluetooth gives off less ionized radiation than having the phone directly up to your ear. So that's why having an earpiece or an earbud is a bit better, but you're still exposing yourself. But the music is more damaging when you got on these high-tech headphones and you're listening to music that's out of your frequency. Okay? How do you know this? Let's just look at this for an example. There's certain pitches and sounds to music. This is why certain people that have certain tones and frequencies, for an example, you might hear screeching or maybe a high-pitched guitar that doesn't resonate with you. Like, I like mid-tones, deep basses. I like certain sounds in music and certain beats per minute, like mid-range beats per minute. I don't like super slow, but sometimes I don't like super amped up. That's a testament to understanding your biorhythms and what your tones and frequencies are. And I know I resonate at D major, right? And that's what I do my mantras and my chanting. So people, it's great when I hear people say they chant or they do mantras, but my next question to them is, are you doing it in your own tone? And then they look at me like I'm crazy. What are you talking about? So you might be doing these mantras and chants and it's not in your tone. And here's the reality. And you might be unaligning yourself and you don't even know it. Okay? And that's facts. So first and foremost, very important, you activate your own personal tone and know what that is. And once you do, trust me, it's going to be a whole different experience when you do your mantras and your chanting. Trust me when I tell you that. Okay? So, no. The more these 9 brain magnetic particles get damaged, no, they cannot be repaired. So this is why it's very important to be aware. Now, even certain foods, I'm not going to get into that right now because I don't have time. I'm going to probably do, this will be a good class to do it live because there's so many other things this opens the door to dialogue about. So I'm going to kind of leave it there. There's a lot more I want to talk about in regards to this. There's fuck nuts over here. Sorry. There's a lot more I would like to talk about in regards to this. So I don't want to just randomly jump all over the place and throw all different things out there because that would be pointless, okay? That would just be completely pointless. So to the person, that was a great email, great thing to ask a question about. hopefully this sheds a bit more knowledge and awareness on this is how they attack us. They're using high-tech warfare, people. See, you think people are looking to see something. That's why I did that third eye activation video. You're looking to see something with these two eyes. You're not going to see it. You never will. You're going to see it with this eye. Not only are you going to see it, you're going to feel it. You're going to be able to sense it. You're going to be aware of it. And when this eye is activated, you're going to be able to activate your psychic self-defense to counteract it. So spiritual attacks is done through sound, vibrations, and tones. And that's why I keep telling people, a lot of people who think they're being attacked, you know when you're being attacked, okay? And I can tell when a person's describing those attacks, or they're just a little bit batty, right? Because there's certain criteria that has to be met. But anyway, I don't want to get into that here. I talked about that. We can get back to that another time. So, again, psychic self-defense is the solution. Remember, I told people that this was going to escalate at the end of last year, going into the beginning of this year. I told you, and already, when we have the end of the year this class, which I can't believe we're talking about that already, I don't even want to tell you what the communications that are coming through already. And I got a gang of shit to share with you guys at the end of December. Remember, that's when everything, I don't share openly certain things. I try to do it in a more closed internal setting, but there's a lot for us to digest as we go into next year. But we'll talk about that. So yes, that's how those extreme low frequencies are sent to you. That's how they fucking try to attack you, activate your psychic self-defense. That's the way you're going to be able to combat the bullshit. All right? Anyway, stayed a little longer than I can. Hopefully that video helped. Again, great question by the email. I appreciate that. So if you need to reach out to me for a spiritual reading, a consultation, or you need my contact email address, the direct link to the social media pages, the podcast, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos page to sign up for classes. All of those links are in the description box of the video you're watching right now. I appreciate you tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next video. Infernal blessings.